What up, Providence? Welcome back to my channel. We are under the new Demerara Bridge. Under the bridge. We're passing under the bridge on East Bank Public Road. Bridge goes for at least, that is the ramp section, goes for at least half a mile east of where we are. And here in Providence, you can get a different view of the bridge. Now that is the Ramada Hotel and Princess Casino, and of course that is also where the poster of the bridge has been set up. But this is what the bridge looks like. See, it curves to the right. Right, there's a curvature here in the ramp as it curves to the right. After going straight for about 2 miles, right? It gets straight for about 2 miles until you get to this point where it curves to the right to get to the high span section. Now we've seen in the previous video from Peters Hall how that gap is almost filled, and we expect it to be filled. That is the last section, right? The last 2 spans to close the gap between the ramp and the high span section with these cables that suspend the high span section. It's just a narrow gap left, and my guess is that in another 2 weeks, right, in another 2 weeks, that gap will be filled. That's my guess. That's where we are now. Now they still have to, I think, put up the barriers here, the safety barriers in this tiny section over the road itself. My guess is they're gonna have to put up extra tall safety barriers in that section because you don't want some accident where a vehicle comes tumbling over the overpass and onto this road below. So they're gonna have to be some added support, high strength barriers at the overpass section. But wait to see how that gets completed. Seems as if they're still also going to have to put in barriers, put in the walls in the sections that are being built out right now. But this is what the road looks like here at Providence. Right, this is the entrance to the Ramada Hotel and the Princess Casino. Right, that is Princess Casino. They have, I think it's a fun city. They have a recreational or an entertainment venue in that building. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Trying to get another glimpse of the bridge, and that's what it looks like now. You can see the gap on both sides of the high span section, and those, all the ends are being worked on simultaneously. So my guess is that in a couple of weeks we're probably going to see continuous bridge. That is by the end of June, beginning of July. However, what remains to be seen is the on-ramp at Heroes Highway, and that's where we're going to be. Our next stop, we're going to take a look at the work being done on the on-ramp section of the bridge. Morning. Again, this is another one of those road signs giving you the directions to Chedijagan Airport and Heroes Highway. And I'm looking forward to the day when those road signs will meet international standards. When somebody will say, okay, it's time for us to upgrade so that these features of our road network are the same as what is expected in other international locations. But this is what is happening to the bridge. This is the view from Red Road, from the intersection, the junction of Red Road and East Bank Public Road. You can see the high span section and you can see the long ramp. I think this is probably the more impressive view of the bridge. As you approach Georgetown, you're heading towards Georgetown on the East Bank Public Road. When you're passing through Providence, this is the view of the bridge that you get, and it's quite massive, especially if you look at the hotel. Now, this used to be a massive hotel, right? It's about what, 5 stories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stories. So this building was the most massive building in this location. Really made everything else in this location look small, and now the bridge makes the hotel look tiny. But yes, guys, this is where we are. We're at Red Road in Providence, taking another view of the bridge. It seems as if they're also finishing up some or completing the enclosure of this area. They're building a fence around this property, which I assume belongs to Amazonia Mall. Right, the mall here at Providence. So this piece of land was being used for storage of construction material. It seems as if now they're going to enclose it with a fence. You can already see what that fence looks like, or is beginning to look like. When they first started moving construction material here, I assumed that they were expanding the mall. They were building a bigger mall. There again, that's another sign, another road sign. My question is, how is it that all the sidewalks are different? Right, this is a sidewalk that's been built here in Providence. And when it rains, as you can see, there are pools of water on the sidewalk. Why is that? Because it was not built with a pitch. Same is true for the road. Now, the standard thing, if you're following a code, a building code, is to build a gutter between the sidewalk and the road. If you go anywhere else in the world where they've built this kind of infrastructure, road infrastructure, you would see that there is a gutter. And it's very specific dimensions of gutter, the depth of it, the angle to the road, and so on. But because we have no building codes in Guyana, there is no standard way to build sidewalks. There's no standard way to abut the sidewalk to the road. Right? There's no standard way to abut the sidewalk to the road. And as a result, you get a situation like this. But yes, this is the old hotel. That's the one that was being built for, I guess, cricket in the early 2000s. It's not completed. Still waiting to see what happens to it. But it allows us to take a look at what's happening with the bridge behind. So that's the bridge from Peters Hall, from Providence You can see the back of the hotel, and there in the distance, that is the high span section from Providence. So you can see from Providence. So you can see a glimpse of the bridge from here in Peters Hall in Providence. We're also in the vicinity of the new we're also in the vicinity of this new uh, Hyatt hotel. So thought I'd bring you over here, not just to see the bridge, right? This view of the bridge from Providence, but also what you can see. So it's also instructive to understand why this bridge has to go all the way out to Heroes Highway. Because logically, you would assume there would be a ramp, an entrance ramp to the bridge somewhere nearby. But because of the angles, low angle of the ramp and how high the high span section of the bridge is, this ramp is elevated for about half of a mile. It's elevated above the ground for about half of a mile. And so there was no on ramp anywhere near. They put this on ramp all the way out to Heroes Highway, which is about a mile from here, 2 miles away from here. I'm going to take a look at that in a future video, but for now, let's see what's happening with the Hyatt Hotel here in Providence. But that's it, guys. That's what the bridge looks like from Providence. You can see there's still a whole lot of activity on the bridge here on a Saturday morning. And I guess in 2 weeks, when we return for a follow-up, we'll see if our prediction holds. But tell me what you think. Do you think this bridge will be completed in August? Maybe this section, maybe. But when you look at the entrance ramp at Heroes Highway, I'm going to show you that in the next few videos. Give me your view, your understanding, your prediction about whether you think this bridge is on schedule to be completed in August. That is 2 months from now. Share this video with friends and family. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world, Guyana. Later! That's looking east along Red Road. And that's what the bridge looks like from Red Road.